Shalom Aleichem, the first Sikha of Sukkos, Chelik Yutes, is based on a Farbrengen the Rebbe had in Tavshin Chav Daled on the second day of Sukkos. In the actual Farbrengen, we don't find the first part of the Sikha, the Nigla part of the Sikha. When the Rebbe originally said the Sikha, the Rebbe pretty much stayed the whole Sikha in Pnimius Yanyan. Rabbi said that we know the Pshat of Al Tadeb on the Pasuk Tikka B'Chodesh Sheva B'Kesel Yom Chagenu, that whatever was B'Kesel hidden in Rosh Hashanah, a Mizgala is revealed in Yom Chagenu and Sukkos. Therefore, it's called Chag. Whenever it says Chag in Torah in general, it's Chag HaSukkos because that's the time of Yom Chagenu. It's when things B'Kesel Yom Chagenu, that on Chag HaSukkos is when things get revealed. So from that's understood that just like Rosh Hashanah has one mitzvah, mitzvah Yom B'Shefer, and that is Negeh to Rosh Hashanah B'Yichud. Because Karbanis, there are other Moedim as well, but in Rosh Hashanah, they're different in the counting and this and that, and the type. And so too, Mitzvah Leisasei and Mitzvah Sasei of Shvisin, of resting on Rosh Hashanah, which has an every Yom Tov. So too, just like Rosh Hashanah has one thing that's unique to it, Sukkos has unique. And the Sikha goes on to explain that the Yoneh Atzmi of Chag HaSukkos is Yeshiva B'Sukkos, sitting in a Sukkah. And therefore, the Rebbe explains that's why Netilas Lulav Mitzvah Minan Mufchar is that it should be in a sukkah, because the sukkah should be makif even on the Daled Min, the Rebbe went on to say. That through that is Meskala the Inyanya Atzmi of Rosh Hashanah, Tamichuni Aleichem, which is equal by every Yid, and by Chag HaSukkos, when you sit in a sukkah, that's what reveals. However, the mitzvah of Daled Min is kosher with, is connected to his chalkos. It's different. Now, the Rebbe said, when he spoke about the Sikha, he says, Tamichuni Aleichem is equal by every year because Tamichuni is connected with Atzmut. So therefore, there's no Ischalkos. Like it says, everybody's together. So to Yisrael, we're all sitting in one Sukkah. That means that the same Sukkah that's befitting of the Chodesh B'Tzecha, the wood chopper, is befitting for the Sheikh Shivteichem, etc. Every Yid fits, even the lowest of the Yidden fits in the same Sukkah. The Rebbe added and said that, however, in Daled Minim, it's not the same level of Achdus. He says, but in Daled Minim, you see the Yom Hadin element of Rosh Hashanah, which is connected to Shofar. Why? Because the Chazal give us a mashal. If two people went to a judge and we don't know who's going to win, and the one who walks out and screams, Anan Tzuchaya, that's how you know they won. And the Lulav and Esrog is Anan Tzuchaya, Did Anatzach, we won. What did we win? The Din Torah of Rosh Hashanah. So the Sukkos, that element is connected to Rosh Hashanah. Then the Rebbe went on to explain that Mitzvah Daled Minim and Mitzvah Simcha is similar to Tshuva and the Inyan HaMitzvah Shabbat Rosh Hashanah. The Rebbe went on, says that Lahar, to point out that regarding Simcha, we find a special focus on Chag HaSukkos, even though every Yom Tov is Moyadim the Simcha. The Medrash says, it says 3 times Simcha by Chag HaSukkos, but by Pesach it doesn't even say once, and by Atzeres Shavuos it says once, and therefore Dafka Chag HaSukkos you say Zman Simcha Seinu. And Yesh Leimer that the Inyan HaSimcha of Sukkos is not an Inyan independent, but it's connected to the fundamental idea of Chag HaSukkos, which is the revelation of Tamichuni Aleichem, because Simcha is connected to Gilui. When there's a big Gilui that brings to an incredible Simcha. And so Gilui brings to Simcha, and he says, vice versa, Simcha brings to Gilui. And because Sukkah is the revelation of Hashem's rulership, which is incredible Gilui, so you get an incredible level of Simcha in Chag HaSukkos, and especially on Sukkos Pesach Eva, which then shines throughout the whole year, as the Frierdiker Rebbe writes. The Rebbe continued to say in more detail, the Sukkah itself, the Rebbe has this in the other end of the Sikha, the Sukkah itself has also the element of mitzvah, the mitzvah of Yeshiva and Sukkah, the Inyan of Tshuva, which is Chag HaSukkah, which we're told it comes from the Nanak Toides, from the cloud of Toides of Yom Kippur. So all this is manifests itself in Sukkos. The Rebbe went on to explain an interesting Nekuda. The Rebbe says that in Chlal Yom Kippur, the mitzvah Hayom is Tshuva, especially Avodas HaKtoros, which has 11 Samanim, including the one that includes the Yid that's not perfect, the one that has a bad smell, and it's connected to the number Yid Aleph, and therefore it has the potential to fix all issues, etc. Now the Chiddush of Schach over Ketubos is Yom Kippur, it's by Kohen Gadol Lifnei Lifnei Min HaKodesh HaKadoshim. in a way of Mamata Lamayla. But Chag HaSukkos it's a level of Gilui Milamayla, not only Kodesh HaKadoshim, not only in the Beis HaMikdash and Har HaBayis, Yerushalayim, Eretz Yisrael, but everywhere, wherever there's a sukkah. And sitting in a sukkah is not only to learn and daven, but also Pashat eating and sleeping. And at the time of sleep, you Pashat have a drop of chayis left. Because Chag HaSukkah is the Amshacha, is the bringing down of the Ketores, the clouds of Ketores, to the lowest of the low, even on the Goyim. And that's why we can understand why the Chazal say, they would dance by Simus Beis Sheva, and they would say, Asher Mishlechato, Mishachato, Yasher. It's not understood. How can you say it's Simus Beis Sheva? You should be talking about things about Shuvah. We're standing after Yom Kippur, everyone was atoned, especially Chassidim Anshe Maaseh, that definitely did all the mitzvahs, and they did 4 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, that there's no shaychus of Inyan Avodas, there's no shaychus of sin, because they have a gilui of Yom Kippur. And how much more so now on the first day of Sukkot. And we stand on Sukkot, which is Rishon Mulu Cheshben Avonos. And Rebbe references then the incredible pshat of the Barditchever, which is found in Kedushas Levi on Parshas Hazinu. And the Filik Rebbe brings in Sefer HaSichos in Tavlei Sadik Sadik. What does the Barditchever say? That what does it mean Rishon Mulu Cheshben Avonos? Because until Sukkot, you're still doing Avodah Meyira. And Avodah Meyira cannot turn Avedas into mitzvahs. It could only just turn into shkagos. But on Chag HaSukkos is when starts Simcha. So the Barditchever explains, so Hashem only starts counting your Avedas now because he's counting them because he knows that because you're doing now Avodah Mesimcha, these will turn into mitzvahs. In other words, only from Sukkos that Simcha is activated does Hashem start counting the Avedas, which will turn into mitzvahs. Rebbe reference a beautiful pshat. And therefore, it's definitely not Shach Simbas Beis Sheva, somebody that has to be Yashav in Chalai. So the answer is because Chag HaSukkos is the revelation of Ananak Tevis, which is higher than Torah mitzvahs, and therefore we say Yashav. We're not talking about removing the dirt; that's already fixed. But the incredible level of tshuva, l'mayla b'Torah mitzvahs, and therefore there's Simcha says Sheva, which is an incredible Simcha, because it's a Simcha Bal Tshuva, which is a Ben Melech. That dafka when he was far in captivity, he comes back to his king. The simcha is more incredible than ever. Just a magnificent Farbrengen that you should feel like you're sitting by the Rebbe's Farbrengen as you're discussing these topics.